Mi gente, he pensado invadir una casa en United States.
So you guys probably already know the story about Leonel Moreno, the migrant influencer. He has tons of followers on TikTok, and he's putting up videos all over the place about how to take advantage of the system in America. Listen, before we start this video, I want to know from you. Put it in the comments section. How do you feel about people coming in and simply taking over properties if no one is using them? I know that a certain group of people like the idea, but I also know a large group of people that own homes like myself that is not exactly a fan of the idea. However, I want to see what you have to say. How do you feel about someone coming in and just simply squatting and taking over your home? You're going to see a bunch of things, but the three main ones I want to point out today are these. You're going to see arrogance, you're going to see anger, and of course you're going to see contempt.
Mi gente, he pensado invadir una casa en United States.
All right, first of all, he sticks his chin up.
Mi gente!
This is arrogance. This is feeling superior to other people. This is also a display of anger. You're going to see it get deeper in a minute. But his nostrils flare. When you're angry, your nostrils flare as part of your body's preparation for possibly running, possibly fighting, things like this. You've heard of fight or flight. But when you become angry and the adrenaline begins to pump and your heart goes a little bit faster, you need more oxygen in your blood. Part of that is breathing through your mouth, and part of that is your nostrils opening up as wide as they can go. His chin is elevated, his eyes squeeze closed, and the glabella, this little muscle in the middle that makes that 11 sort of wrinkle in the middle, that furrows, and it furrows your brow when you become angry. I froze it here so that you can see this angry look on his face. See how everything is wrinkled up? This face right here is actually the face of disgust. Disgust is when everything in your body wants to squeeze closed because you're offended by something that's outside of you. And this is metaphorically for him, but he's disgusted with, let's just call it the country that he wants to come into to take advantage of some of these squatting rights, and he's trying to rally his people. But this is the face of disgust. Now, in this statement, he's driving this home to his audience. When he says he's been thinking about invading a house, he throws the comment out with his head.
He pensado invadir una casa en United States.
This is generally with your hand. It's called a baton gesture. You're acting like you have a stick in your hand. The idea is that you're making a very strong statement, and metaphorically, it's like tapping someone or hitting something to put someone or something in its place. Now, he doesn't do that because one hand is holding the camera, but also he's throwing it with his head because he's trying to display that he's angry about what he's saying, so he's hitting his audience with this word.
Una casa en United States.
Another thing I want you to notice about this is he's showing his teeth a lot. When you're angry, your nose flares like I told you before, your eyes kind of in the middle here, everything begins to squeeze together, and your teeth bare. This is the idea that you want to look ferocious to scare off any possible predator so you don't have to fight. One of the things I want you to understand about his body language here is he's not going to fight anyone. From the looks of it, this guy may be 120, 130 pounds soaking wet. He's not big enough to be a threat to anyone, not a man or a woman, maybe a small child, but you can tell that he's not going to actually fight anyone because of his eyes. When he gets angry, his eyes squeeze shut. Now look at this face here. This is the idea of someone displaying anger, but they're not going to do anything. I have a video about what I've called the death stare. There is a specific thing you need to look for if you're worried about someone's actually going to hit you or not. Now, I've done interrogations for years, and you can always tell when someone's going to come up over the table at you, and it's never when they're squeezing their face together and squishing their eyes shut. It's when you see the whites of their eyes. Look at this picture. Do you see how the whites are exposed? So it's not this where they're coming after you, it's this. When you see this, get ready. Between 6 and 10 seconds after you see that, they're likely coming over the table after you. I can tell you that from experience.
Ya que me enteré que existe una ley.
Now he gets really wound up. His head even goes side to side as he tenses up his neck and his jaw, and his eyes get really big as he talks about this law that he learned about, and he's trying to tell his people about it. And when he does that, he's not talking with his eyes like this. His eyes are open like this. It's not the exposed whites that I showed you earlier. This is where the eyebrows go up too. When your eyebrows go up too, it's different than when you just expose the whites and the eyebrows don't move. This is, listen to me, I found something new out. It's completely different than, I know about a law that you need to listen to. It's not that, it's, I know about a law and you need to listen to it.
Ya que me enteré que existe una ley.
So he's being emphatic with his body language, talking to his people about how he's going to demonstrate for them how easy it is to move in and squat in someone else's home.
Una ley que dice que si una casa no está habitada, podemos expropiarla.
This is where I want you to pay attention to the sneer on his face. It's one-sided. This is called contempt. Of the 7 universal facial sort of expressions that we have all across the globe, this is one of those 7, and it's the only one that is asymmetrical. I've shared this in several other videos. All the other expressions that we make are symmetrical. In other words, they're the same on the left as they are on the right. Not so with contempt. And I want you to see what contempt is. The godfather of body language, Paul Eichmann, describes it like this. The basic notion of contempt is I'm better than you and you are lesser than me. The most common trigger for this emotion is immoral action by a person or a group of people. He's against a group of people to whom you feel superior. Now, while contempt is a standalone emotion, it is often accompanied by anger, usually in a mild form such as annoyance. He is not mildly annoyed here. He is angry. He does feel superior. This is why his chin is up. That's arrogance. This is why he's looking down his nose as he's lecturing people. This is why he's showing anger and frustration. He's showing his eyes. He's trying to make them as angry as possible, but he's not really going to physically do anything. He's just really pumping up his people, his crowd, his audience. He's baring his teeth to show how angry he is. He's showing sneers of contempt. And the last part of this, he's talking about expropriating it, which means to take it from somebody.
Una ley que dice que si una casa no está habitada, podemos expropiarla.
If there's no one using it, we will take it and use it ourselves. And it's the nodding. When you nod when you speak, you're trying to get your intended audience to agree with you. I'm looking right now for a little bit more footage of this to see if I can do a part 2 to this, but I'm not having a whole lot of luck finding some standalone footage of him talking, but I will be looking for that here very shortly. And if you are still here, do me a favor, click on one of these other videos. I will see you guys very soon in the next video.